Hello, you're listening to Otaku Spirit Animecast. My name is Andrew, and I'm joined here with Chris.
Yo.
Today's episode is a discussional podcast episode where we talk about the news that seems important to us, dive into our community, answer some great questions from our community members, and then say goodbye. So how's the last few weeks, Chris? Finally got done with all of our first impressions. About time to do reviews. Let's just do reviews now.
All right, let's do it.
Bang Dream's about done. What's going to be the first one to end? I forget. I think it is going to be Bang Dream. Oh, and it's Yohane, because I think Yohane was the first one to start.
Oh, yeah?
Either that or Bang Dream. Bang Dream still got 2 more weeks. I know what's not going to end. Psalm 100. We'll get into that in a bit. Yeah, how's it going? Sorry.
It's been doing all right.
Are you still a normie? People need regular updates on that. Are you still a normie? Are you burning through some anime right now? Are you becoming a degen again and just consuming anime over the last couple weeks?
Trying to balance.
Balance.
There's balance.
So you're a normie.
It's got to be balanced.
See, Chris, you know how it works these days. Everything, it's one side or the other. You have to be the extremes now.
I see.
Yes.
Do you want to hear about my audiobooks? I can talk about my audiobooks.
Sure.
I mean, otherwise, no, I just suck.
You know a new audiobook that you can pick up?
What's that?
Mushoku Tensei is getting one.
No, it doesn't go.
Boom. What, did I hit a nail or something? Did
Yes,
I hit some sore spot?
yes,
Ding,
I'm
ding,
very,
ding, ding,
very.
ding.
I mean,
let's get the intros out of the way first. So yes, we're from otakuspirit.com. That's where you can go for our anime, new and old. We have our link to our Discord. Man, I was going like old school Otaku Spirit. Like I have our forum there where you can go meet some great people on our forums, join that community.
no,
the otakuspirit.com is just to show all the links. But yeah, one takes you to Discord. Great people there, fun to talk to. It's like the only place you can talk to about like really divided things, but then people, yes, get a little heated, but it corrects itself really quickly. I don't find that anywhere else. If you do that on Twitter or something, I'm sorry, X. When do we stop saying, X?
Well,
is there a point in which we stop saying Twitter and just say X? Are we?
I'm currently getting emails from X, formerly Twitter.
They actually say formerly Twitter.
Yes,
on there.
that's what the.
It took them forever to get rid of the search box saying search tweets and trending blah blah tweets. So they finally got rid of all that stuff. So it seems like it's official. I just don't want YouTube picking up the word X and thinking I'm talking about something else. Like just saying x.com sounds scary.
Doesn't YouTube get you on everything anyway?
Yeah, that's true. They've been really good lately, actually. I still have my problems with them taking forever to check a video, but they've been really good lately. So I give, maybe it's because I've been around long enough. They're like, look, you got some good. We're almost 14,000 subs.
When do we get the play button?
I don't know. Probably 100,000.
Oh,
I thought there was one for 10, but maybe it's a cardboard cutout.
Get on it, folks.
It's like it's 10,000 cardboard cutouts. You're not worth us even spending like some fake cheap plastic, coated with silver. We're just gonna give you a cardboard cutout. That would be actually really cool. I would like that more. Like if I suddenly just like blitzed a bunch of subs and they just start sending me all the ones that I've been building up, and one was cardboard and one was silver and one was gold and I don't know the diamond one and whatever. I just put the cardboard one.
They
up.
actually have a diamond one.
Yeah.
Dang.
Super diamond one. I think it's only for like people like what's that guy that got like 10 million or something like that. I'm blanking on his name right now. He's the only like the most popular YouTuber besides that company in Middle East or something like that. Some music label or something. I forget. Anyways, that's us. People that can't remember names of very popular YouTubers. But yeah, we'll go through this is a discussional. We're going to go through some news that should be important to you because it's important to us. It's important to you. I kind of condensed it down to the biggest subjects, and then we'll jump into our community. Answer some great questions from them. Again, on our Discord, we have a little submit questions area. Don't talk in there like the bad kids do. Just post your question. And if you want a topic for a YouTube video, you can go in there and just say, I'd like a YouTube video this. But most of them are just questions for the podcast. But yeah, so like I said, the news. Let's jump into what Chris was diving into. We have a news bit that Seven Seas randomly came out of nowhere and said, "Oh, by the way, we're making audiobooks for Mushoku Tensei." I got super excited. Apparently, it's being narrated by Cliff Kurt. I listened to a little snippet. It sounded pretty good. Besides they did this beginning segment where he, spoilers, gets reincarnated into another world, and he's looking up at his parents. Spoiler, and then at some point he goes to talk, and then nothing comes out, and then it cuts over to like this random baby whining. I don't know if the guy was doing it, He could have been doing it. It was like one of those ones where I guess he could have took his mouth away from the mic and just like aimed it somewhere else and went, wah, wah, or they just played a sound of it. It was a little creepy though. But yeah, he's doing it, and yeah, that's cool. Hopefully he doesn't read out the spelling errors that they put in pretty much every volume now, ever since, like, was it 12? I feel like every chapter now. Bad 7 Seas. But yeah, it's going to be launching on their 7 Seas Siren imprint. So now, Chris, what were you going to rant about? What upsets you about this?
I went and when I heard that they were doing that, I got super excited. And I immediately went to Audible.
Weren't you... I think you mentioned something about this. Weren't you complaining about them getting stuck on Audible? Isn't this a good thing? Isn't it a good thing they do it on their own thing? Is it their own thing they're doing it on? Or is there another app?
I was hoping that they would go away from Audible and get into a kind of a uniform spot where they could all at least go. But
I mean, all light novels.
All light novels.
Or 7 Seas stuff.
Yeah. No, all light novels. Oh. Because there's 7 Seas, there's, of course, Yin Press, there's basically...
J-Novel, I think.
Yeah. Well, J-Novel is kind of a... they're a consortium where a whole bunch of them are coming together there, too. So it's not...
I just mean their print. I mean, yeah. You're right.
And... so I was hoping that there would be at least a place that all of them were going to that was not Audible. Of course, I went and I hunted it down. I double checked, triple checked, and no, the only place that they were all going to was Audible. So I was like, crap. I went ahead and restarted my account. I got a whole bunch of light novels, and started filling out my repertoire of them. I've gotten a whole bunch of them listened to. And then when I heard that Mushoku was coming, I was like super excited. And I was looking on Audible and it's not there. And I was like, why?
I don't think it's out yet, is it?
It's out.
I thought it was out in September or something like that.
Maybe it's in September. That's when it's coming to Audible, because it's out, but it's on Chirp and something else.
It's on Chirp. What is a Chirp?
I have never heard of a Chirp. I know.
Actually, I think I've heard of Chirp, but I don't think I know. No, I don't think I've heard of Chirp. I don't know. It might be. But yeah, I mean, that one and Sentence of Bookworm, I don't think they're even out yet. They're just saying they're working.
I hope they don't do the same thing with A Sentence. A Sentence in Japanese is on Audible.
Oh, they already got... Oh, the Japanese one. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? Mushoku Tensei audiobook. I think they had like a splash page for it, so...
No, 7 Seas Siren does.
Release date of 9/28, so literally next month. There you go. But yeah, that's interesting. That's today's walkthrough of Chris's fun with audiobooks. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the official website for Zom 100 has revealed broadcast schedule for that series. We just got episode 6 today after a day delay again. So that my news right here that says August 27th is wrong because it was delayed by a day. But yeah, then they have episode 7's coming out on September 3rd. They have a week delay. Then they have pretty much starting on September 17th is episode 8, then 9, and that's it. That's all we know. So we're going to get at least 9 episodes before the end of the season, and the rest of them are pretty much, I'm going to assume probably winter. I'm assuming that we'll probably get the last few episodes in winter. It's an unfortunate thing. I kind of mentioned to a lot of people that you get about 2 or 3 delays, and that's it. They can't meet their schedule. They get this bracket, this core, this season that they can distribute the episodes, and they get a little bit of a buffer. And then once they delay a few episodes, that buffer's gone, and then they have to essentially find another TV time slot. Sometimes because another show ends in time, and they can just kind of back in off that one. But in most cases, it's, yeah, find a new rebroadcast in another season, and here's the last episodes, kind of like thing. So, hey, Wolf, are you enjoying it? Are you sad?
I love Zom 100, so it is a little bit frustrating, but it's kind of part and parcel anymore. I'm getting kind of used to the delays anymore. I'm just being honest.
I've been hurt so much, and I'm numb to it. I'm numb to the pain. It's just it's just a thing now.
Well, the thing that it would bug me more, does bug me more, is the tendency that I don't tend to catch it when it gets re-aired.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And I never end up finishing the show. So
That's like I said, that's what happened with Shine Post. They were like, oh, we're having like, I think right off the bat early on, they were like, we're gonna have like 2 weeks or something like that delay, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just wait, and then I never went back to it.
Yeah.
That's a big issue. Like I was able to do like Nier finally came back and just dumped like their last like 3 episodes, and I was like, okay, cool, let's finish it off. But for the most part, especially if it's early on, like it's mid point of the season, it's like, I'm not gonna bother.
yeah, I got
Misfit apparently came back.
Which
I'm
one?
like, what?
Which one was it that I ended up getting lucky on, that I caught it and I was able to catch back up? Was it 86?
I'd imagine that one had like a good full season play.
And that one I was able to end up catching up and keeping up on it once I ended up catching it. So maybe that was it. I just know that every once in a while that happens, and it's like I'm not even bothering. It's not worth my time.
I think the bigger problem that it kind of exposes is just what's with the planning. Like, can we stop with this? I think we're at the point now where it's like I say we like we have control over it, but I think we're at the point now where I would hope that eventually they start caring, because I know that probably costs them to have that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're renting a block of television, so if they delay a whole season, they have to open up another block. It's probably bad for them, unless the advertiser's like, oh, that's just double dipping for us. We can do that, but like. It mind boggles me, because I mean, like I said before, I called this way early on. The moment that we had the first episode, I said, these were all scenes from the PV. This show is going to get delayed. Like, there's no way this show is anywhere remotely going to be done. And sure enough, second episode came out. It was mostly the same shots of the first episode. And then it had that whole OP that was nothing but, well, mostly all shots from the first episode. I'm like, this is not happening. Now we got Shaft getting involved. This show's going to fall apart. The moment I heard that first delay, I was like, yep, this show's not going to finish. Called it. And it was an easy call, because, again, I think the big telling point was that PV. But when you're... In a lot of cases, you have some PVs where you watch it and you feel like you watched the whole show. Yeah. Like, what was that? My Senpai is Annoying. That one, we watched the PV on that one, I was like, holy crap, I feel like I just watched the whole show. I think My Tiny Senpai felt like that, too. You can really tell sometimes the PVs where it feels like you've seen, like, so many different shots, and it really feels like the characters are changing. And you're like, wow, I feel like I watched the whole show. That's the ones you know that they probably produced most of the episodes. And the hope is that they'll have at least 6 episodes done before the first episode airs, because it takes more than a week to produce an episode in a lot of cases. And so you can't be down to the wire. And the moment you see delays happening, they're literally trying to claw their way back out of the hole. And so when you have it early on, you just know it's not going to happen. And I just hate that they work on those schedules. It's like, why... I don't really honestly know why. I think a lot of the cases it's because they're getting a studio and they're setting up way too late, and they're scheduling a broadcast date and everything before it even starts being produced. But there's times where I think that it's almost as if they're trying to do this because they're afraid of episodes leaking. I don't know. It's so bizarre that this is still a thing in anime.
Yeah, truth be told, yeah, I agree with that. I actually, strangely enough, actually prefer this to the other situation. I mean,
there's another situation.
Yeah, Wizard Barristers, or
where it falls apart. Yeah. I mean, that's my argument that I made when I first started talking about this whole situation. Was like, every time they come back, the episode's great. Like, the directing is so good, and yeah, there's some CGI zombies in the background and stuff. This recent episode felt pretty lacking, but it wasn't a big action set piece, but. At least 1, 3, 4, and 5. Those episodes were really good, like directing and animation and everything. So if they can keep up this, sure, take your time. I just don't see why we have to settle for that. Why was this not done?
Well, no,
not anything against the perfect situation. Typically, the producers.
Perfect situation would be Land of the Illustrious, where the entire show is completely produced, ready to go, and they just hand the entire thing out. That's I guess, huh?
Was that?
It wasn't a dump. It was just they piecemealed it out.
Like something like Otaku and stuff like that is where it's like, that's like the only thing I like about Netflix full dumps is like, you just know it's ready, but then you have the problem like we have. Oh crap, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
Otaku, I've yet to watch it because it was a full dump when the season started. I'm like, I got stuff to do. I can't sit down and watch a whole season.
But I mean, that's the perfect world. I mean, I don't understand why they don't do that. But maybe they just feel like it's better this way. Or just because which is the other possibility, they just don't like to change things.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's done.
It's how we've always done things.
It's how we've always done it. Okay, let's figure out a better way to streamline this stuff. Huh?
I seriously think they're afraid of leaking it. Like, what can you imagine if, say, theoretical, they go, hey, Ufotable is redoing Berserk. And they're like, they didn't tell anybody, but they're like, okay, Ufotable, start from volume 1, redo the whole thing. And Ufotable's working on it. And they're like, we want you to go ahead and just pre-produce it, and we'll release it whenever you guys are done. They're like, okay, cool, that helps us out. We got plenty of time to work on it. They're still going to have a set date, and I think that's probably what they're working off with the TV broadcast too. So they have that, and they produce the whole thing, 13 episodes, they're like ready to go. It's going to start next season. Everybody's getting excited, and then somebody walks in there, and again, this is this whole problem with the leaks and stuff that's getting more and more popular. It's more of a desire to do that. Grab that disc that has them all on there, and walks out the door, puts them up on the internet, all the episodes. Everybody's going to rush to watch it. They're not going to wait for the broadcast date. And then guess what happens when the TV's broadcast happens? Stats are down. Wasted all that money. Got barely any of it back. I think there's a legitimate scare of that. They're afraid of that idea of it getting leaked on the internet and just completely losing all steam. I mean, well, for Japan, it would be a lot easier for them to track it down and cut it, get rid of it, but it's still going to get found. Once on the internet, it's done.
Yeah, once it's out there, it's out there. I don't know. That's a tough call. I can't say you're wrong. I mean, it's a legitimate fear, but can they base the entire industry around that one thing? I just don't see that.
Bad leaks are getting, probably.
Yeah, right.
With how bad leaks are getting lately, probably. That's an unfortunate thing. And again, that goes back into my whole longer discussion of that video that I want to make, is that whole idea of, I think as things get more popular with anime, it's only going to get worse. The leaks are getting worse. Just massive amounts of leak right now. Like right now, and I usually ignore the leaks because I'm like, I'll just wait until it actually gets officially announced. I don't like to get my hopes up. Most leaks are probably based on actual truth, but sometimes things change. Sometimes leaks are based off of ideas of what they want to do. Man, hearing that Frieren possibly being two seasons or 2 cores, I'm like, yes, please. You got a 2-hour long possible first episode and 2 cores Madhouse. Are you gonna give me that much? I'm waiting. I don't want to say it's true yet. I'm gonna wait.
I would love another hour per month show like they did with Katana Gatari.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why they can't do that stuff.
What was the last one that we had? We had one that was like, what was it? I want to say that we had something like that here recently, but yeah, it's been a long time since. Well, I mean, that was a new thing at the time.
I think
it was just completely off the wall.
I think they snatched up a shonen block of some sort.
They just said, "Hey, let's just broadcast an hour-long episode once every single month." It's just so bizarre.
Because you got your shonen blocks seem to be pretty much going on the year-long schedule. Those are the ones that you keep getting that are like the 48 episode type shows. We get them every once in a while. We haven't actually gotten one in a while.
Wasn't Atari no Itamina? No, it wasn't.
No, it was not.
Wasn't. It's weird. Super bizarre. That was like a out of nowhere thing. But it was...
Shoot, what is the Noitamina block? I haven't seen that in a while.
I don't remember what was this season. There was something last season. I forget.
Oh, it was Surune.
Yeah, I think
a couple
so.
seasons ago.
I think so. But no, that's like one of those rando things. Because I think at the time it blew me away too. Because I think when we got the first episode, I was like, holy crap, this is a really good show. I want to watch this show. At the time, I didn't even know. I don't even think I'd watched Monogatari at that time. So it was my first. I think it was my first introduction into Nisioisen. But it was like one of those. I watched the first episode and then like I'm waiting and I'm like, why aren't the fan servers picking up the next episode? Because again, this was back when That was the only way you can get it was fan subs. And I'm waiting, and I'm like, where's the next episode? And then at some point, it popped back up, and then I looked into it. I'm like, oh, this is a monthly release? What? Who? What? I don't think it was an OVA. I think it was definitely broadcast on television. But yeah, somebody pick up that show, save it, give me a Blu-ray release of it already. Jeez, McCraminy. I still hate the fact that I didn't buy those from what was that? NIS America? Yeah, because they had those boxes like the Hanasaki Roha. I got Hanasaki Roha. Totally missed out on the Katana Guitar. I still kick myself for that. They were gorgeous boxes too, because the art for that series was gorgeous. So,
what do I say? Yatsura.
That's right.
And then Ranking of Kings.
And they'll have it again next season.
Currently is Rurouni Kenshin.
January it'll be Usui Yatsura. Usui Yatsura coming back January.
Rurouni Kenshin currently.
Yeah, I can see that. Cool stuff. Did you see my video on the most popular anime in Japan rankings?
No. What do we got this season?
It was pretty on point. Like it felt like a lot of the stuff that we were liking over here, they're like, and obviously Jujutsu Kaisen's huge over there. Mushoku Tensei was doing good over there as well, like right behind it. My Happy Marriage was doing good over there, which I'm happy about as well. I
gotta catch this week's.
The biggest bizarre, because I want to spoil the whole thing because you guys are watching the video. The biggest bizarre, I think it was Nico Nico, number 2 rank. What do you think? The most random. That's so Japanese. What was number 2?
Yeah, I haven't got the slightest clue.
Atelier Thaisa.
Really?
Nico Nico. Again, Nico Nico is going to be based on what's available there and whatnot and searches, but yeah, the thighs.
She's a figure character. I can see that.
I mean, jokes aside, yes, technically it's sold by thighs. I mean, it's the most successful Atelier game ever. And there's an obvious reason probably why it grabbed a bigger audience than normal is because they made her thick. I mean, typically with Atelier, they're thin as sticks. I mean, there was one girl that was pretty modest chest size, but for the most part, they're pretty sticks. Petite. Thaisa was different. And it made it most... So you have this pre-established fandom. The game's really successful. They're on their 3rd one, and then an anime comes out, and they're accenting those thighs, and it's doing a good job of the show, the story itself.
If you're kind of curious, as to what Andrew is talking about, I think probably, I mean, Rurouni was pretty figure worthy, but I think the best example of what Andrew is really talking about is pretty much put Totori against Raiza.
Yeah,
Totori looks like she's in a maid outfit. She's just absolutely adorable, but she's not figure character. Now,
I think all their designs are gorgeous.
They are. They've got great character art. That's one of the other reasons why I love it so much. I just love the character art. But you put the characters next to each other and you go down through the list. I mean, like I said, Rurouni is kind of character.
Those girls were flat as all gets.
Yeah, a lot of those ones were.
What was that one? I forget what that was called. The one with the pictures.
That would be Maria. No, that's not Maria. Maria's the new one.
The remake, wasn't it? And they just released that. Did you pick it up?
Yes, I got that. Of course, I got it.
Gotta catch them all. It's like the Pokemons.
I can't help it. I love the Atelier series. It's the
I think it's Suele, wasn't
stuff.
It? Suele?
Suele is
no, that's not Suele. That was a
it's
one.
the two sisters.
Mysteries Paintings. Yeah, that's Suele. Okay. Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of.
That wasn't the two sisters?
Yeah, it's got 2 characters on there. Suele and Lydia,
yeah.
Yeah. They had I thought that was the one with the book girl. The girl they got from the book. Anyways, there's so many of them, and I haven't gotten in. I've been out of the loop on them for a long time, so it makes sense that I'm dumb about this. So yeah, that was Nico Nico's thing. That was fun though. I might be adding some more statistics to it for the future ones because it's a fun one to look through, and sometimes some of the stats are a little bit less good to work with than other ones. The difficulty is trying to find straight nothing but, because some people have suggested using Twitter follower stats, which I think is a cool idea. Just The problem there is that I'm trying to find rankings for Japan, and if you're looking at followers on Twitter or something like that, guess what? It's not just Japan that's following them. You're getting everybody. So right now, Jujutsu Kaisen's Twitter account is probably followed by probably a pretty good even share across the world. Probably not just Japan, because people love Jujutsu Kaisen that much. And they want any news they can possibly get, or any videos or info. Then you have sweepstakes and stuff that are adjusting certain followerships. Followership doesn't mean people are watching the show. Somebody could see this studio is doing, or this one anime is doing a giveaway, and they start following it. Doesn't mean they're watching the show. So there's a lot of oddities that kind of come into play, but it's still fun.
And plus, people don't, once they follow, they rarely ever unfollow something.
Yeah. And so it's just going to be sitting there. Plus multiple seasons. If a Twitter handle is for multiple seasons, that's not an indication for people watching the new season, because people watched it a long time ago and they didn't watch the second season. But yeah, like right now, I may have followed, Devil's Part-Timer back when the first season came out because I like it, but I haven't. I mean, I hated the second season. I'm not watching the third season. I'd probably still be following. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's fun. That's fun. I don't know. Did we talk about your holding your finger up?
I was stopping you in the middle of
my finger point.
2 sections.
Oh, because you're 30 minutes.
My 30 minutes.
You're 30 minutes. So, Chris, what'd you think of the whole news around visual arts selling out? Have you looked into anything on that one? Did you watch my video? I just ask it, Andrew. Did you watch my video on it? I think we talked very past. I think I may have just sent you a text or something like that mentioning it, but I don't think we actually sat down and talked about it. There was Visual Arts. For those who don't know, Visual Arts basically made an announcement saying they had become a subsidiary of Chinese conglomerate Tencent Holdings. This is pretty much a decision by the current head after, he's 63 years old and he wants to retire. And the unfortunate thing is he doesn't have any family or anybody to pass off the company to. And since he owns 100% of it, if something happens to him, the company's pretty much dead. So rather than that actually happening, he decided that he wanted to sell it to somebody, and he claims in this interview that or in their blog post, basically, he claims that they all kind of came together and said, we need a company that's big, that can survive, that can keep the company going for a long time, these properties going for a long time. And yeah, Tencent's pretty dang big. It's massive. I mean, they have a large ownership of Epic Games. They have whole ownership of Riot Games. I mean, it's a massive company that has their hands pretty much in every single cookie jar across the world. So,
yeah, I think that we ended up discussing this, and yes, I did watch your video. It was in regards to.
Was it a good video?
It was a good video.
Oh, good.
I think when
did you hit like?
No.
Oh,
I don't even get likes
from my own
subscribe, and I don't like to
anything. He doesn't even subscribe to me.
I would have to log into my account, which is probably only I think I did subscribe to Otaku Spirit at one point.
Bam.
So it's only I'm only subscribed to like 2 things. It's League of Legends, like way back when it first started, and
weird. That's a weird one.
It was for skin. It was back when YouTube was okay. No, I think that we talked about it in regards to key properties, and I got off on a wild tangent of that more than likely they were after the properties. Yeah. That's the only thing I could really see them going after. But hopefully they're not going to impose on creative. That's the only downside that I could foresee.
And this is one of those weird things, because like every buyout, what's the first thing they say? Nothing's changing. Yeah. They'll stay the way they are. They're their own company. It's like Tencent bought them just to let them sit there, obviously, because, you spend a bunch of money on something and you just let it sit there. I don't think Tencent spent very much money on this. I mean, it's not like Visual Arts as a company is like massive. They are literally just sitting on properties. Yeah, I can see them seeing something like their recent mobile game they released as being sort of a good thing to invest in, because Heaven's Burn Red did a really good job. It was like their first time really making some massive earnings. But I think like all the visual novel properties, I don't think they care about them unless they want to make a Clannad mobile game, make a make a Air TV mobile game, make a Key mobile game where all this stuff just smashes up against each other and put some gotcha in there.
I think that visual novels could work really well. I mean,
isn't mobile games pretty much, especially Japanese mobile games, aren't they just basically an extension of visual novels?
Exactly.
That's where they went.
And I think that's one of the main reasons why I could see them really wanting those properties. That is easy money right there. Mm-hmm. You just slap it into a mobile and you've got it. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Phoenix Wrights did well, and those are basically
yeah, but they don't have gotcha though.
This is a true statement.
It's gotta have gotcha for Tencent to care. I mean, yes, I would love for them to make mobile versions of all of the visual novels just as visual novels and sell them on there for like $60. That'd be super cool. I mean, they did that with Planetarian. I had Planetarian on my phone for the longest time, and that was why I consumed it. I just, whenever I was somewhere and just chilling, I would read some more of it. That was how I got through it. That's kind of why I got the Switch versions of them, because it's like that's a really cool, convenient way that when you're on the go, you can read a visual novel. It's about the only time they have time to read a visual novel.
I'm not real sure, because I've always been kind of, what's the best way of putting this? Because I want to say that Tencent, didn't they buy, was it Mal?
Mm-mm.
Or was that...
that was that D something, something, something. I forget.
DNA.
Yeah, it was like 3 letters and starts with D.
Tencent and DNA, for lack of a better term, I've always been kind of ambivalent of what they're putting money in, mostly because of the fact that I don't know that they're, I guess, trustworthy in a way. I don't know what their end goal is. It's one thing, I mean, like Sony. I see Sony just gobbling up the market because they want to expand their capabilities. Tencent, on the other hand, they don't work that way. They're
well, obviously with Sony, it's more of an aspect of why are we selling these properties to Crunchyroll? They have an established platform over there. Why don't we just do it ourselves, kind of thing? Why don't we get those subs rather than give them the properties and get the subs from it? We can just basically double dip.
Yeah,
we're selling the license to ourselves, cashing in on our own money, and then we're getting subs.
Yeah,
it's basically how they're doing it. And then they're getting they're banking on the licenses that they don't own. So it makes perfect sense there. With this one, I don't know. I racked my brain for a while to try to figure out exactly. The only thing I can come up with is that, yes, maybe Heaven's Burn Red is something that they know is going to be super successful, and it maybe didn't cost much money for them to buy it. That's the thing. I think that just this happened because it's cheap. They had a cheap buyout here, and they went for it. There is a side of me that thinks it's maybe just for the talent, but I don't know unless they maybe have like a non-compete agreement. It's not as if they're buying the talent. They're buying the company. They're buying the properties.
Yeah.
So it could be an aspect of them grabbing non-competes and then having some really good writers involved as well. But in the end of the day, I think it just comes down to properties. And again, I hope they didn't pay much for it because it's a very bizarre decision to do.
Yeah, and that's where I'm pretty much leaning. Is it just, like I said, it doesn't really quite make sense to me. It's not I don't see them furthering the properties in any way, shape, or form. I just see them buying them and then letting them sit. I don't understand what the plan is with this. I mean, it makes sense on like Riot or something like that. Putting it into Epic or something like that. Those things make sense. Buying a random mobile or a random visual novel set of properties doesn't make sense. But I don't know. I just tend to be cautious of companies making themselves too big.
And like I say, with the first initial kind of announcement of this and them saying, nothing's changing, it's like, yeah, for now. Nothing changes until like usually a year in. But we'll probably see in the coming days. I thought it was kind of funny during the interview. He kind of, or not the interview, but again, the blog post that was technically like laid out like an interview. He mentioned this idea that, I'll leave to the next person that's taken the reins to announce any future properties. And it's like, yeah, that you basically saying there's nothing new coming if you're looking for visual novels. Just say you're not. You guys aren't working out. I mean, he probably has some visual novels down the pipeline, but they're probably going to cancel. I don't necessarily see them continuing on visual novels. And again, that wasn't because of the buyout. That's the direction that visual arts I think is going. Is they seen that this new mobile game did really well. That's their future. They were already going that direction.
Yeah.
Mobile games is where you're going to make money. I think there's still. It's not that there's a death of visual novels, because visual novels, if you're a small company, you're going to make just a visual novel. Making a mobile game with a gacha system, payment systems, and all that kind of stuff, that's much harder. You have to have servers, dedicated servers for it. It's much more than just programming a visual novel, putting it on a disc, and giving it to people that can play offline. So
and if anybody's curious, I have played some mobile games that had gacha systems, and it was a really good game, and then another big company came and gobbled it up, and then it suddenly became not as fun. So where they were pretty much monetizing literally everything in that game. So
at least it's still alive, unlike Princess Connect.
No, that one actually died shortly after that company bought it out. So yeah,
Princess Connect, rip. Anyways, what else do I have here? Kadokawa has announced that I'll become a villainous that will go down in history. Light novels getting a TV anime adaptation. Story follows a girl named Alicia who hates goody two-shoes heroines. Her wishes come true when she becomes reincarnated as the villainess in her favorite Otome game. She strives to be the world's most evil villainess in history. However, the more she tries to be the villainess, the more the prince appears to like her. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Me and Chris are kind of like, I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with a lot of content creators. I know that for a while there, people were getting angry at all the villainous type stories, but I think me and Chris are still like super on board with all these, especially when they do these little weird quirks. Like like right now we have where she's the villainess and she doesn't want to become the villainess, even though she's haunted by the villainess. And now this one right here is where it's like, I want to be the villainess. But then for some reason, I don't know. What do you think it's going to be? Do you think the prince is like just sadistic like that? Like he likes pain, or he just finds her like super cool? Or do you think that she does things to be evil, but then he takes it wrong? Like everything she does evil is misinterpreted and he thinks she's the greatest person ever.
think that's probably the direction they're going to go. Where she's trying to be evil and trying to be bad, but it's like not working in any way, shape, or form. And so it's like, actually,
I know, I'll destroy the roads, and it so happens it helps them.
It helps them out in some way, shape, or form, and so everybody likes it.
You stopped the road, good job, because it got flooded, and we would have lost all that cargo and probably some men and horses. No, that's not what I wanted. I could totally see that. That'd be cute.
That would be great. I think that would be a perfect show. Because you could have a lot of fun with that. Just her trying to be bad and it's not working in any way, shape, or form. That would be perfect.
Another one I thought you would be really interested in is web action manga. Twitter account posted an image for volume 4 of Dungeon People manga, and it's getting an anime adaptation. Clay was trained by her father to be an expert member of the Thieves Guild. Since her father's disappearance 3 years ago, she's been using her skills to track him down. Ends up going to a dungeon filled with goblins, minotaur, and other manner of dangerous creatures. When Clay reaches the deeper than anyone else has before, she meets the caretaker of the dungeon. To her surprise, Clay is invited to join the staff, and then begins Clay's new job to learn and the inner workings of the behind the scenes of secrets of the dungeon from the inside. So basically, becoming the dungeon master.
Works for me.
How
I could do that.
I guess that can work. Like I can envision it as a manga, and it sounds pretty funny. This idea of like going through all the tropes of the dungeon and going, oh yeah, that's how that works. Kind of like you were talking about that one show where it talks about how they like input the stuff in the boxes and stuff. I can see that as well.
I think that it could work, but it's
the father's working down there.
Huh?
She went down there to look for her father, and now she's suddenly working for them. I think she's probably found her father.
Probably found the father. It's one of those
father. Instead of father saying, "I'm gonna go down to the store and get some milk," he went up in the dungeon
and became the dungeon master.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those that I absolutely love the concept of. I mean, either way. I mean, I would love a dungeon builder, or I could absolutely love the idea of just playing with the tropes involved with the dungeon. But at the same time, I am very, very aware that this is a absolute coin flip. Either one way it'll go good, or the other way it'll go really horribly.
You're like, it's like that whole joke that a lot of them like to do, where it's like suddenly you see the character there walking through the person's house and breaking their vases, and it's like, yeah, we got that joke.
Yeah,
I don't even know the anime did that joke. It's funny, but I don't need that joke again.
I want to say the Valkyrie girls or the
bikini warriors, whatever.
Bikini warriors did that. Yeah,
there was another one here recently that did that, but yeah, it's like, I mean, I chuckle inside, but there's a side of me that's like, you gotta do that joke again. We get it.
Well, I don't mind, even if I end up seeing the same joke a second time. If they're trying something different, I'll give them a little bit of leeway. But it's the problem is they get the first few jokes are funny, and then they're trying too hard with a lot of the other jokes, and it ends up piddling out. I mean, even
I noticed that like Hoyoverse likes to make jokes, the reverse joke, where it's like you have the chest that's sitting out there in a game and you go to open it and the person yells at you for just assuming you can open it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, please, you're doing this stupid joke. I hate that more than anime doing the RPG go in the house and destroy things joke. Anyways, yeah. Some really cool news though. Remember Planet With?
Yeah.
Really like that. You didn't watch Biscuit Hammer, did you?
Nope.
Yeah, that adaptation. I was planning on reading the manga, and I never did get a chance to it. Apparently, they want to adapt his last manga. Like they're just doing all of his stuff, and they're all doing full adaptations too. That's kind of cool. But yeah, website was open to announce the TV adaptation of Sengoku Yoku. The manga, of course, is by Satoshi Mizukami, who did Planet With and Biscuit Hammer. It's the Warring States Yoko. It's being done by Studio White Fox this time, though, so there is hope for it, Chris. I guess I could show you the trailer while I'm reading this. This is like I think the only thing that we have actually trailer for. So it's Kitsune, so it's going to be good, right? Like a Kitsune. But no, it's being done by White Fox. It's going to run for 3 total cores, which I think they mentioned that's going to be a full adaptation. I think I'm looking at a post by Satoshi. I think he mentioned that was a full adaptation, so don't quote me on that, but I think it is. It's going to premiere in January 2024, and the world is divided into 2 factions: humans and monsters, called Katawara. Despite being a Katawara, Tama loves humans and vows to protect them from evil, even if it means fighting her own kind. Her brother, Jinka, however, hates humans, despite mostly being one. The siblings are joined by a cowardly swordsman named Shinsuke, who wants to learn how to become strong. And I think that's where they fuse together, because I think that they kind of imply they fuse together. So, cool. You might actually watch this one, unlike Biscuit Hammer.
It looks good.
Like I said, Biscuit Hammer, I think it was just I liked it. And I still want, like I said, I still want to read the rest of it through the manga. But man, that adaptation was just barely functional, and plus like censorship and stuff, which was kind of annoying. I hate self-censorship. But yeah, this looks cool. Obviously, it being Kitsune kind of helps it out a lot. And like I said, White Fox has historically done some really good stuff, so I'm hoping they can really not just don't pull a Biscuit Hammer. That's all I'm asking for. Can I at least just ask, don't do a Biscuit Hammer? I'm easy to please. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Anyways.
No, you're not. You're
Demon
very,
Lord-
very difficult to please.
Demon Lord Retry is coming back, Chris. Did you hear about that? You remember Demon Lord Retry? Kendro Suda was the Demon Lord, and he had the little the girl that looked like Rem, but she had yellow hair and covered one eye.
Okay, gotcha.
And he was like in that game. I think it wasn't
No,
a game that he designed. It was a world based off a game that I think he was designing, or he was a part of design of it.
I just
and then
remember
he had all those
multiple
OP characters.
he had multiple
OP NPCs or something like that. Yeah, and they're like the one that was the gun, the doctor.
I don't remember if he was in the world or what, but he was building a metropolis in the middle.
Yeah, he was building his own town. Yeah, he was like bringing people in, making farmlands and everything. Anyways, and then had that really like sadistic chick that kept falling around from the church.
Yeah, pretty
she
much.
was great. Anyways, yeah, it's getting another anime. It's great. The official Twitter account for Demon Lord Retry light novel has announced that the sequel manga, Demon Lord Retry R, is getting an anime. The sequel manga.
Why is
of
it
the original anime?
Okay, why not
adapted from
just
the light
finish
novel.
the original show?
That's what I said. So yeah, for those who don't know, Demon Lord Retry, the anime, was based on the light novel. And the manga is based on a light novel. And the manga adapted more light novel than the anime did. A little bit more. Like just a smidge more. And now they made a sequel manga that continues after the first manga. And now they're making an anime adaptation of that. So I looked at the original manga to see how much it adapted. And some 18 or 20 chapters, somewhere around there, that's where the anime ends. And I think that went on for another 8 chapters. And then the second manga continues after that. So we're going to have a gap. I don't know how they're going to handle that. It's obvious they're advertising Demon Lord Retry R, but it's just a bizarre move. So I'm really hoping that they make some way of piecing the two of them together, because that's going to just be very stupid. But I don't know. I'm just happy to see Kendra Suda come back. I'm just happy to see another show.
We're going to get a movie.
Get a movie.
We're going to get a movie.
Do you think it's that popular enough to make a movie for it?
Obviously, it's popular enough to make another
an anime based off a sequel manga.
So apparently it's popular. So we're going to get them a movie.
You know why it's popular. It's got Kendra Suda's name on it.
No.
I love it.
It's popular because it's got a cute lolly-ish...
A lolly Rem? A Rem wannabe? Did you hear about the Slayer's artist being accused of using AI? Did you look at any of these images? I know, another.
Oh, I see. I wasn't sure what was going on. I watched your video.
I gotta ask you, Chris. Is it?
It didn't look to me, but
it didn't
I don't know. I'm not specifically sucked into the AI art.
You're not you're like those people that go, huh? If you look at her finger right here, yeah, that's definitely AI. The only thing that was weird is the foot. That's the only thing that I've been questioning is this foot.
She's sitting on her foot. What's wrong with her sitting on her foot?
How is that sitting on her foot when she has shoes on? Where's the shoe?
I've seen more jokes out of the the photoshopping crap.
The jokes of the photoshopping. What?
You remember how they would there would be the Photoshop editing of some lady's chest or something like that, and they'd show how it doesn't fit right and all that.
Yeah,
I've seen it. That's more amusing than the AI crap that people do anymore.
But yeah, basically what happened is Rui Izumi, which is again the artist of the original Slayers light novel, just basically a legend. They basically have been, most of their art's always been that style, that old 80s, 90s anime. And then apparently here recently they made a doujin for a Comiket, and people started going on Twitter saying that they're using AI. And then they went off and posted a bunch of videos where they're basically going through all the layers of the images that he made for it, or she made for it, and they apparently aren't happy by that. So
I think out of all of that, when I was watching your video, I thought what was more impressive to me out of that entire controversy is the fact that he's trying to branch out into the moe and try to update his artwork. I would really like to see some of the older style in a more moe type, just a blending of the two, because I do love the old style. And I do love the newer style. I would love to see something that more captures both of those. And you're going to need some of those older artists to kind of do that. It's the older style has got I guess the way you put it kind of makes sense. This more kind of a jaggedy, sharp lines, a lot
large
of
triangle eyes.
Yeah,
the peaking hair in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, even when they tried to update Urusei Yatsura, you can kind of almost.
Chris, come on, you're gonna get us yelled at.
I know. I don't say it right. I'm stupid. I got you.
You can, I'm just following up with you.
I'm the worstest person in the world. I don't know anything about anime because I can't say that right. So anyway, Lum, when
you're my spirit animal, Chris. He knows me so well. Big Dream is not a sequel.
Lum, when they kind of updated her artwork, I mean, even that,
That's the thing. I think David Production just nails it.
Yeah,
they did that. They did that with Ushio and Tora and stuff.
Well, Ushio and Tora, exactly.
It's such a gorgeous upgrade.
It really does look good when you get the kind of newer styles involved in the kind of older stuff. And that's one of the things that I've been most excited about with getting a lot of these older shows, is seeing that kind of refresh into the new modern styles. And
That's like I always said. Everybody asked me what if you could have, I don't know what the wording was, but if you can have a show remade, and I'm like, Clannad in KyoAni's new style.
Yeah.
Because that was the biggest hang up for a lot of people, was the style of it. They don't like those massive eyes. I'm like, I think the massive eyes work for it if you get used to it, because you see that emotion with those eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul. And I think that was a way of enhancing that. But yeah, I would love to see it in like a style like, I don't know, Love Shinobi or No Illusions. I think it would look great in a new style. But what are we talking about? But yeah, I agree with you. And that's the thing. It's like, that's the sad part about this whole situation, is they came out, show these videos. There's still people like, don't believe them. Don't believe them. They're lying to you. This is all fake. You can easily just you can make some sketches and another layer underneath
Fake news.
Fake news. But no, it's like, it's sad because, yeah, there's that afterwards they mentioned at some point, they literally said, I just wanted to try something new. This is a style they've been stuck in for so long. This 80s, 90s style of Slayer, which I love. I have the whole set, and I love that series so much. I love Lena Inverse. But them wanting to... You kind of wonder if they have that aspect of, this doesn't sell anymore. Nobody wants that old style. They want this new Moe style. And so they're like, let me try this new style. They literally say, I try this new paint style, this new artistic style, because I want to make this doujin that is playing off jokes around Onimai and stuff like that, which I love. I want to see. And they're getting criticized for it. This isn't your art. You used AI, obviously. No, they probably painstakingly tried to push to a new style, and that's hard. That is hard to build a new style.
Yeah.
So, and now they're getting heat for it. That's the sad part.
That's the thing that's frustrating to me is more the like I said, the fact that he's trying to do something new and people are just dogpiling him already. And it's like, this is exactly what we've been talking about. It's the
AI scare.
Yeah. You can't bash somebody for trying to do something new. You don't know. You weren't there. If you were there, fine.
That's the sad thing. It's going to turn into, all these artists are going to have to record their sessions now, which apparently the software does it. I think I've seen it before, where it plays the entire your every step, they play it out. It's like, that's sad. So I would love to get your opinion on the questions I posed on that video. Then,
what's that?
First question: do you think, I guess consumers are owed that explanation, that if it is AI or not?
No.
Show me the proof.
No.
And I kind of agree with that. And that's the idea of, then don't buy it if you don't. But I think there is.
I absolutely believe, and now I do think that you're kind of
if
right.
You're buying, I
think you're kind of right.
Say you're
in
buying
your argument on the video. I think you were kind of right that there should
consumers kind of owed an indication.
But
so if you say if you went into a KyoAni store and you've seen something on the wall and you bought it, then you come to find out later on, oh, they made that using AI. Not an artist. That's basically a false advertising, because you assume that that's a person that drew that.
I am very, very. The reason why I'm such a solid no, they're not owed any. It is a buyer.
I don't think people are owed explanation for this.
I believe that people have you should be kind of the buyer beware type thing. If you buy something, if you do not research it, if you do not feel that you are getting the product that you want, that's on you.
Well, to the credit of this situation, somebody goes to this Comiket. They walk up to his counter. They see the art on the front of it. They're like, wow, that's a different style. But it says down here, art by Rui Izumi. Artist Izumi. They buy it. They're buying it because it says art by Rui.
Does not mean
it would
anything.
Be false advertisement if an AI did it.
It doesn't matter.
Why would it not matter? It's false advertisement.
I agree. It doesn't matter. It does not matter if it's false advertising or not. Now, if he wants to claim that you are claiming my property, that's on him. But if you write, if I put a piece of paper down here written and I write, this is written by George R.R. Martin, that's on me.
Right.
George R.R. Martin can sue me, but I have a hard time when it comes to copyright claims. That's a totally different issue. But when it comes down to it, if I write that this is written by George R.R. Martin and you buy it from me, that's on you. You've bought it. All you did was bought a piece of paper that says written by George R.R. Martin. That's all you did, is you bought a paper that says that.
So if I go out into the Times Square, perfectly legal for somebody to sell a book that claims that it is written by George R. R. Martin because they just weren't aware, but there's no legal action that is taken upon them.
If you are not taking the time.
But the problem using that argument is that an AI is not something that could sue you. The problem here is false advertisement.
Absolutely.
It's just like making a commercial saying, "Take our new drug; it will make you be able to fly."
I'm not saying it's morally right. I'm saying
like legally it should be wrong. Because if somebody says that this can make you fly,
that's a different issue.
You can be put in jail.
That's a different issue.
No, it's not because you're false for advertising.
You're asking me if it's right. Yes, I believe it is right. I can do whatever I want. As long as you buy it, that's on you. You have the...
So you're okay with people selling things that claims that it's made by them, but it's not made by them?
I didn't say I think it's morally right. I said I think that it's right. As long as you take the time to research what you are buying, that is on you.
Right and morally right.
Very different things.
Right has no context when you're saying it that way. It's right. What about is right?
I can sell whatever I want.
You have the right to, is what you're saying. Okay.
Okay. Now, whether or not it's morally right, that's a different issue.
I can't argue with that because it's simply the fact that there's no laws.
Exactly.
You're saying it's right, but it's really just because it's lawless right now.
Correct.
So it's not necessarily
you have not given me a reason why that is me taking anything from you.
Because you have to give them money.
All I did was I sold you a piece of paper that says written by George R.R. Martin on here. That's all I sold you.
No, I'm saying in that example you're giving makes no sense to me. An example of you are Rui, you put a book out that has a bunch of art and you put on there this art is by me. And then I buy that, you're taking my money under false pretense that I gotten your art.
That's the same to me.
That is fraud.
It is not fraud.
That is fraud. Yes.
It is not fraud.
That is 100% fraud.
No,
because
it is
you're stating
not.
It does this. You paid money because you said that it does this, and you did not get that.
It is not fraud.
Yes.
No, it is not.
What's the definition of fraud?
All that this said was that it was... The artwork is done by so-and-so, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, who has the right to take that claim?
The artist.
The artist does, not the person who is buying the book. You're going into copyright issue. That is a different issue.
I'm not talking about copyright. It's saying this is what this is. And then you're buying it based on the fact that that's what it is.
And you're saying that's fraud. That is not fraud.
Yeah.
The only person who can claim that is the person who did the art. If the person who did the art, now going into what you were doing in your video, was if the artist claimed that it was his and it was actually done by AI.
Okay, so
that's a different issue.
Properly, but still, it's still the concept of what is the term then? There is a term for it. It's false advertisement, basically. It's basically just false advertisement. Because you're claiming something that it isn't. That would be like any company claiming that some art in a gacha game is by, say, Rinja Murata, and it's not Rinja Murata. They'd be pretty much in trouble. But again, the problem that all eyes and all this stuff is that aspect of the AI is not necessarily an entity. And that goes back to the idea of it not being technically something that has been established yet. Which, again, I think is something that's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
I think at some point there's going to come a time where these governments are going to get involved and say, you got to put a stamp on it, which sucks because now every art book I would rather it be every art book that has AI has to be indicated. And if it's not AI, don't put anything on it. Because I don't want to buy an art book and have a bunch of stamps on every image that says, this is not AI, this is not AI, to stamp each one of them. No, just do it the other way around, where if it's not AI, they don't have to indicate it. But then if somebody finds out, but then how do you prove it? That's so weird.
The more interesting argument that I have going through my head, because I mean, yeah, the copyright claims. I fully admit I'm very weird on copyright, because I don't really believe that it should be there, but at the same time I understand it. I understand why it's there. That's why I am very, very intent on separating.
I use fraud right. You got me all mixed up.
I'm very.
Looked it up. I'm like, I thought I had fraud right. It's fraud.
The reason why I was being so strict on it is because of the claimant. The person who can claim the injury is not the person that most people express when they're talking about it. You cannot claim a person.
It's being deceptive in order to get gain.
Correct.
You're being deceptive in order for you to sell. To
Correct. I'm not disagreeing.
I'm going by the rawest form of it, not some attached to other something else.
Right. The problem is the person who most people immediately think that the person who can claim the fraud is the person who is the purchaser. The purchaser is not necessarily the person who can claim the fraud. It is the person who has been defrauded or has been frauded. Okay, that is the person who is actually injured. That's why copyright is weird. It is a very, very weird.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yes. So in this situation, again, let's just assume that Rui uses AI. Yes, technically the person that buys it is not going to charge them for fraud.
Right.
It's typically a government that sees that he's selling a bunch of those and charges him for fraud because they look into his paperwork and say, oh, you've been doing something really naughty, and ends up being more of a governmental action rather than a lawsuit or something like that. But I guess if you had like a group, if you did like a group, I'm losing terms here because I'm thinking too much. I'm tired. I just got done recording 3 hours of Mushoku Monday and doing a Mushoku Monday. I got to move my day of recording. Class action lawsuit. They can, I could easily see a fraud being placed upon somebody like that.
The funny thing about this
is just sadly some person that bought a single dojin for, I don't know, $5 or something is not going to go after them legal action.
It's not. It's a really this entire discussion is really fascinating, mostly because of the aspect of whether or not
no established law.
The fact that there is no established law, we're going into a world where everything is in the air, and that's where I tend to pull back to my stance of a lot of these things, where the less touch, the better. The problem is like Andrew was talking about in his video, where putting a stamp on it that says this was done with AI.
Yeah,
this is assisted by AI, whatever have you.
I think it was I think it was in Korea with that one manhwa. They were talking about there's apparently laws going up. It was maybe in China. I think it was Korea though. There's laws they're looking at that they're going to be possibly labeling stuff.
And even at that, it's. I don't know that I necessarily have a problem with them using the AI, as long as it's just AI assistance, not necessarily doing.
I think most people are in agreement of that. I mean, because we have that already. I mean, audio programs, Photoshop, all this stuff has artificial intelligence in a lot of them. If you're using something to clean up audio, you're using an artificial intelligence.
Right.
It's not that it's just this is a pre-established thing. No, it's looking at the data. And it's going, usually this is noise, so we'll get rid of it. It's not saying this is always noise. It uses a pre-established, almost like a set of algorithms to figure it out. So, yeah, AI is everywhere. It's just we're looking right now of something, an AI of creating its own thing, which is something that is new and breaking everybody's minds right now.
But now to go off of that and just immediately decide whether, I mean, if I got artwork from my favorite artist. I thought it was so funny that you would.
I was bringing up Ranger Murata. If I walked
Ranger
up there,
Murata.
I was talking about.
I was like desperately trying to remember who my artist was, because
I was talking about the fact if I went to like a convention and went up to a stand where Ranger Murata was there, at first I'd probably faint, and then once it got me back conscious, I'd be like, hey man, and he'd go, here's my new book, and he handed it to me, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing, you drew these, and he's like, no, I had an AI do it. First of all, I'd be like, thanks for being 100% honest with me, but two, I don't want it. Like, I don't want to buy a book that's AI. I want your drawings. I'd probably have him sign my, I don't know, my nose or something, and I'd walk away. It just, why? I mean, I get the idea of them possibly using AI to kind of, it's like the whole thing with the Blackjack. It's like, I get that whole idea of like recreating and making new art from somebody that can't create art anymore, but it's like, what's the point anymore? It's the AI's art.
Well, and that what I went ahead and looked it up. It's Yasumi Umetsu. I absolutely love this guy's art, and I was sitting there, I was thinking, okay, well, what would I do in this situation that, like Andrea had talking about, where I'd walk up to this guy and he's like, would you like to buy this artwork that I made using my old artwork? I put it through AI, and this is what it gave me, and I'd be like, and I was thinking, can
I have the ones that you used to put in there?
Yeah, can I have the ones that you
what
put
it comes
in?
down to? You'd buy it just to.
Yeah, I'd probably buy it because I freaking love that. I love that artwork.
Just to make him smile.
It is one of those weird things of the. Would I be okay with it per se? And would I? No, I prefer hand drawn. This is you putting your hard work into it.
A vision.
Yeah,
it's their vision.
It's their vision.
Because every time they create a new piece of art, it's their vision. I want to make this.
Going back to what we had talked about with the what was it, was it Blackjack that we were that you mentioned a few minutes ago, where they had
Tetsuko.
went back, and
Tetsuko.
went back to all of his old stuff and regurgitated it into a new story. No, it's not a new story, but whatever. The old is new, Chris. The old is new. Everything's upside down. I got you. But no, it's one of those stupid things of I appreciate the sentiment that these people are trying to because I know that somebody's trying to make money. They got that. And then there's the other people who are like, they want the glory days, the old time, the back in the day when we were at the height of our time and we were making so much money and everybody everything was going perfect. It's not. It doesn't matter how many AI programs you pull. I don't care how many D-Wave computers you pull together to make it perfect. It's not going to happen. It's done.
Let it die.
Let it die. It's frustrating, but just be creative. Do yourself. Use the AI as an assistance tool. That's all you need. I can theorize about all the stuff involved in it, but when it comes down to it, the old is done. Make something new. Keep pushing forward.
Yeah, there's like a mindset that I have where it's like, I can see like using the AI, like you create the rough sketch, you create the character, the pose, you sketch in to make the basic outlining of it. And then once you got that, basically the form, the silhouette of the character itself and the position of the eyes and the clothing and stuff, and then you feed it to an AI and say, color it in. It's like, even then it gets a little bit iffy for me, because I think there's even a style to the actual coloring and what you shade and how you do the hair, how you shade the hair itself. That all goes into the artist themselves. Like, yes, they did a full breakdown of every layer of their art with Rui in this whole situation, and I want to make it perfectly clear, I'm making these theoretics of their work with this situation, but based on the breakdowns of the Photoshop, I believe they drew that stuff. It's hard for me to believe that they have that many layers of so many different layers of shading, and they had an AI do that. It would be more difficult for them to have an AI do that and then break that down to that many layers just for a video. I mean, I'd rather just draw it myself. So I don't think that they did it. I mean, the only one that had a question was that one art with the girl with basically Marina Universe on that couch. That was the only one that was kind of like, that looks weird. I kind of wish that they had a breakdown of that one. But it all looks like it's legit. But yeah, I even still think there's like an element of losing even a style to so much of it. But even though I still do like the idea of artists using AI, I mean, I do like that idea of the more monotonous work being taken off their hands, especially mangakas. Like, I would love they'd be able to create a style, do the basic setups of each panel, and having an AI be able to fill in the blanks, and they're able to kind of just do touch-ups. Because how many panels a lot of these mangakas have to do, it's just, that's got to be... there's got to be something in there in between that they can have assisted to help them not destroy themselves, pumping out a chapter every month.
Yeah.
But yeah, where's the line? I think the line's different for every single person. Like I said, I think it almost comes down to, I even have a hard time with shading and coloring and fill-ins. It's just, it's very difficult because at some point we're probably going to lose that. And that's really the sad thing. We used to have a lot of mechanical designers in anime. Anime with mecha. Mecha was huge at some point, for those who don't know. Mecha was the sekai at some point.
It was?
You had seasons of tons of mechas. And it even got bigger as they started utilizing CGI mecha. When they started using CGI in anime to do mechas, you've seen another bump increase of mecha. But what's sad is, in my opinion, it seems like this is true because just by how things kind of transpired, we've seen the death of mecha designers. There's still a bunch of them. They're at Sunrise.
They're all at Sunrise.
They're basically at Sunrise. It's probably the only place that was paying them enough to keep them around. Because I think everybody else probably left. All the other mechanical designers, they all left. They just had CGI do it. And I think they probably got moved into just animation work or just in-betweens or something. They just kind of shuffled them off the side. We don't want to pay you a bunch anymore, or we don't want to pay you to keep you around like what Sunrise is doing with mechanical design. So there's none of them in around anymore. Every now and then we'll get an anime that comes out and it's like, oh, mechanical designers, and you're like, oh yeah, they're from Sunrise. It's like the same dudes. It's an lost art, and I feel like that's something that's going to happen with everything. You see this AI get creeping up, and it's probably going to be the same death nail that CGI was to mechanical designers. I mean, the mechanical designers still exist probably in those CGI companies designing CGI mecha. But it's still kind of a sad thing that's sort of I'm getting depressing. Let's move on. We talked about AI again. Can we stop talking about AI? Just tell me next time, is there anything in your outline that's AI? Kill it.
Well, it's this particular thing
it's interesting.
It is a fun discussion. It's really a fun thought experiment. I mean,
think we hit some
for a lot
notes. We even got heated for a minute there.
Yeah, well, it's
actually, I gotta see the comments now. Actually, fraud.
Yeah, I know that I'm getting fried.
We're getting fried for fraud.
I'm getting fried mostly because of
You were playing devil's advocate there.
Yeah,
I guess it was your opinion, but you were
is
pushing back. We don't get that often on here.
It is a realm of area that I do kind of am very passionate about. Is the idea of how much government should be involved in it.
Well, yeah,
I don't want government involved in it.
It's regulation. I mean, that's kind of what I was talking about. I kind of personally even stepped out of my own usual barrier recently with I forget what it was. It was something that was regarding to regulations. I think it was about animation and pay or something like that, or outsourcing. I think it was about that. And yeah, I kind of caught myself in this idea that, there's those iffy areas of regulation, how much you want government to step in, how much you want it just to be. I think what some person was kind of pointing out was just have the government instead give them benefits or tax exemptions to promote them to do the right thing rather than to penalize them for doing what they don't want to do. And there's all these different areas, and then it's a personal responsibility aspect that you kind of brought up for the bit of it is you're responsible for looking into that stuff and how much is up to the consumer and how much is expected of the person selling it. It's a big massive unknown.
It is. I don't deny that there is downsides to all of this. I mean, even like you were talking a second ago, subsidizing something rather than
regulating. Yeah.
Regulating. I am questionable about subsidizing just as quick as I'm questionable about regulating it. I don't want either. I want it to live or die on its own. It's
Vote with our wallets.
Yep, vote with your wallets. That is the ultimate way of deciding, and that's
Buy the Blu-rays.
and that's just like when we were talking about the AI thing. It's your responsibility to figure it out. It's also the person who created it. It's their responsibility to make sure that nobody is doing anything wrong with their stuff. That's what I was ultimately saying. It's a bad place to be in a lot of cases where I'm at, but it is, to me, I think it's the most fair space to be. Is both of you have your own responsibilities.
You're
to
in the
take care.
middle. Stop being in the middle.
Yeah, I
Chris.
know, right?
We talked about that before. You have to be in the extremes. Petro on the Discord is he wants to pose that question for our next mecha anime. Apparently, Petro on the Discord says, hypothetically, Otaku Spirit Studios has emerged into the industry. I think we talked about that on the Discord at some point. What type of anime would you want to be known for? Example, shonen, basically genre, like slice of life and stuff like that. If I want to make money as shonen, that's the sad thing. It's like,
right?
Okay, I'm being realist here, okay? If I establish studio, I'm gonna pump out a shonen right off the bat because I want to get some funding in there. You gotta get that injection of.
I'm
funding.
gonna make the ultimate shonen too. It's like gonna be. This one is going to be.
It's gonna be ninjas.
Yeah,
mecha. It's gonna be like harem. It's gonna have everything. It's gonna be the only shonen epic out there that actually has a harem because shonens don't do harems for some reason.
It's gonna be it's gonna be mind bending. You're gonna you're no, I mean like it's gonna change the entire face of anime and in general. You're gonna love it. It's the greatest.
I mean, I say that because, like I said, if it's a new studio, I'm of the mindset where I would not want to take a big risk. It's like you establish something, you want to make sure that people are paid, so you have to have that happy medium of. It's kind of like what Mappa's doing. It's establishing this kind of precedence by you have to pay the bills, and then after that, when you have that funding, you do that full funded Chainsaw Man. You do that. You start to do those things where you want to try something and see if you can hit that bubble. Hit that not bubble. That's a bad term. Hit that lightning in a bottle. You got to find that lightning in a bottle that hits that sensation. And yeah, that would be hope. In my opinion, I want to hit something like. Either a slice of life or make a really good horror. Because again, anime needs more horror. Right now, Dark Gathering is like this. It feels so like where are these anime? Like it's super gore and dark, and it's so dark anime. I miss that kind of stuff, and I think that's what anime kind of needs back. I'll make a full on straight up horror zombie show. Not Zombie Hunter. Zombie Hunter is fine. Not Zombie Hunter or High School that it's fun. Just gritty, not Walking Dead, but close to Walking Dead. That'd be good. Just continue adapting.
Yeah, I think on my passion project, it would probably be something along the lines of kind of the city building type, kind of more closer to a slice of life. I mean, the ones that are going through my head are like realist or
the prodigies have it easy in another life.
I really love those.
Or
and I think
Demon Lord Retry.
I think that they need a lot more love. They deserve it. I don't think that they're getting good adaptations. And
like Farming Life in Another World.
That might be just that it's not getting a good adaptation.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, they cut a lot of stuff in that, so yeah.
I think that they need some love. I really do. I think that there's got to be one that is just kind of the one that one of these studios are waiting to find. I would love to drag Roxanne back into the mix. And get more of those girls out there.
He's gonna make more Harem Labyrinth. He's gonna actually make the Harem Labyrinth Another World part of the story.
Those I'm probably gonna end up getting known for being the isekai guy. So yeah,
you did mention nothing but isekai.
Yep.
Any specific anime IPs you would like to get your hands on as animation? Otaku Spirit Studios. Berserk.
Seraph of the End.
Berserk. I want Berserk. Given, I mean, again, you establish the money with that aspect of doing a shonen, but then you use that budget, good planning, Take your time. This is my mindset. You have stuff like a shonen or something like that that's producing for the studio. It's getting that money flow going in. And then on the side over here, you're going, secretly, you're adapting Berserk. And you're taking your time. You're making sure everybody has plenty of time. You're not paying a fortune just for every cut, but you're giving enough time they can casually and comfortably hit every single scene properly. Give it the actual adaptation it deserves, not this CGI garbage. And I bet that would be the most insanely successful franchises ever. It's an insanely successful manga. And yes, the reason why it's so hard to adapt is because the guy's artwork is insane. But that's what I mean. You got to give it plenty of time. Just let it cook. Let it brew. Let it be in that crock pot. Just slowly brewing. It'd be amazing.
I would try to. Well, I guess. See, there's a couple of. I mean, this being a different spin on the shows that you'd like to see redone, and because if you have the reins and you have the ability to do the things that you want to do, it kind of puts a different spin on it. My first inclination was like Seraph of the End. Then I thought about Skip Beat. This is another show that it was such a great show, and I would really like to see it done more. There's more to it than just that first season. That first season was fantastic, but there's so much more that they get into. Or Seraph of the End. I think that is an absolutely solid shonen. Yeah, even if it does have the more shonen kind of aesthetic, it still is a fantastic story. There's a lot of really cool factions are going through that group, factions within the factions. There's so much going on in Seraph of the End, but yeah, Skip Beat going all the way through into her acting career and further into it as she goes along. There's so much in there that is just a fantastic story. But yeah, me having my druthers on just different things that I'd like to see. No Game, No Life. I don't know that I would want to get into the third season now that I've read the novel. I don't know about that.
Battle Angel would be a good one.
Battle Angel.
I joked about that with the live action getting sequels, and it's like, why is Hollywood adapting more Battle Angel than the anime did? Get back to that one. But yeah, that would definitely be a shoot. It's one of those ones where I'm like, you can watch Battle Angel now and it looks incredible. So it's like, try to match that style. Like make season 2 legit look like that and just continue it on. Now, original the ending, if I remember correctly.
Going into what we were talking about earlier about getting the refreshing into the newer styles. Yeah, Battle Angel and Armitage, getting those two into the new
we couldn't go through an entire podcast without talking about Armitage.
I love my girl.
Any specific? That was that one. Lastly, what live action IP would you like adapted into an anime? What was the one that was in my head a while back? Shoot.
I kind of end up saying the same ones over and over again. There's Enders, which there's a lot to that. And I think that if you want a Space Odyssey, that would be a freaking epic. Because there's so much to that. The entire gamut of that franchise, and seeing that animated would be freaking fantastic. But see, the downside is we're only referencing Western IPs, and that's the downside. I would love to see Walking Dead, the original Walking Dead. Stay away from the freaking TV show version.
Yeah,
I'm dead serious.
I mean, for the while there, with the first few seasons of that one, like, yeah, I want to be this as an anime, and then it's like after a while, it's like, no, it's just turning into
the
TV. Really dumb drama.
TV show. They destroyed that. Yeah, go with the original Robert Kirkland's version of the actual comics. It is worth it. There's so much in there that you're digging into constantly. There's lots of cool stuff in there.
Pacific Rim, that was what it was. Pacific Rim, I want an actual Japanese studio and Japanese writers to work on it. Yes, Polygon Pictures did the anime version of it, but it was not. It was written and everything by Westerners. I want a full-on Japanese studio and writer and everything working on it. Because that was the thing that I said when I first watched Pacific Rim. I'm like, this is the perfect, cool idea. This is literally Evangelion, where two characters mind meld. It's like Darling in the Franxx. Mm-hmm. Darling in the Franxx, they had the mind sync, basically. So I guess I got it through Darling in the Franxx. But they can get into such crazy drama with that whole concept. And they technically dabbled a little bit in that with Darling in the Franxx, but not very heavy enough that they could have totally done. The idea of Pacific Rim is your minds are coming to sync together, and thus you know everything about the person you're syncing with. And they could do some really cool stuff with that, and it didn't really feel like they did that with the Polygon Pictures one. It was just very surface level, very Western, very safe. So I thought that would be really cool.
And my other cheesy, weak answer is, of course, Game of Thrones. I mean original intent, not the TV show.
Yeah, Vinland Saga felt like it was getting there, but it's not getting that heavy with the politics, and that's very politics and houses and kingdoms and stuff. So, I guess 12 Kingdoms I think would be more in that area. Have you watched any of the 12 Kingdoms?
Yeah, I watched it. Loved it.
Watching it. It's like was it like the 5th season now? No, that was not 12 Kingdoms. I'm thinking of Kingdoms. Sorry.
Oh no, not Kingdoms.
Yeah, there's 12 Kingdoms too. There's 2 Kingdoms. There's 2 Kingdoms. One's 12 Kingdoms, and one's just Kingdoms. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Petro, for your question. I'm gonna mark it because I forgot to mark questions last time, and I had to check the old podcast to figure where I was at. Death Metal Head says, "Are you guys ever going to watch Gintama?" No, just because you asked. As of the date of this post, I've been watching 1 episode a day, 142 days now, and it's been a whale of a time. Did you just stop at 142 because you posted that? Or you just never went past 42? 142?
He's waiting for our answer to continue.
Oh, Gintama has irreparably warmed its way into my life. Honestly, it's too bad watching just an episode a day. Would you guys consider doing something like that? Then doing a short review every 24 episodes or so. We were planning on doing that, but then we were doing Fairy Tail, and then we stopped. And somebody asked me about when's the next Fairy Cast, and I said, you asked me, so it's another a year of waiting. I put it off every time you guys... No, I'm joking. But yeah, I thought about that with things like, long-running things like One Piece and stuff like that. Just watch an episode each day, and it'll just slowly over time develop into something. Or I'll probably get caught up in like an arc and go, oh crap, this is a good arc, and I'm going to sit here and watch it and put everything else aside. That's always a fear, but... Yeah, it's just something that kind of happened that we kind of got pushed off the side. We were doing this back and forth of choosing different shonens back and forth, and I think at the time Chris chose Fairy Tail. I think I was going to do Gintama after that. Either that or Bleach, I forget. I think it probably was Gintama, but yeah.
Speaking of Bleach,
I'll put it aside. There you go.
I hate Bleach.
Yeah?
No.
I hate it too.
I don't really hate it. I hate that it's there and I can't stop and watch it.
There's one part of that show right now that I hate so much, and I just cannot wait for the answer to happen. And I'm sure I'm probably not going to be satisfied with the answer. That's for dang sure. But yeah, that's the answer to your question. I thought about it, but I will eventually watch Gintama. That's just an inevitability. It's just one of these days when it gets some time, or if the anime industry collapses like we keep joking about. And I'll have plenty of time to watch Gintama at that point. Thanks, Stealth Metalhead. Taku Trucker says, it's been a long time, guys. I hope you're doing well, Taku Trucker. I think I touched base with him at some point in DMs. It's been a long time. Sorry, I've been busy, but I'm back binging anime at a normal pace now. A Taku Trucker became a non-normie again.
What? I'm being left alone?
Yeah, Taku Trucker's not going to be a normie with you no more. I hope you're satisfied. Good job, Otaku Trucker. Good job. Anyways, my question is that, what are your predictions for a release of My Dress Up Darling Season 2? I'm thinking winter 2024. Hold on. I love the show, and Cloverworks has done an amazing job with it. I'm currently rewatching Season 1 for the 3rd or 4th time. Damn, you're just shedding that that normie, aren't you? And I just love how cute their relationship is. And obviously, I need my fan service. Lol, thoughts. Yes, some good fan service in that show.
I believe there is a solid chance for that to get another
Oh, it has a season 2 coming, Chris. He's talking
Okay.
about when.
Oh, when?
I'm sorry, Chris. I should have clarified that.
Yes, I am so happy.
I don't think they've announced a date yet.
All I
pretty
can
sure
say
there's no date
is
yet.
that any day is not soon enough. If it is not in this next season, I'm going to be severely ticked off.
No, I'm just kind of more mad that we didn't get Akiba Sailor Uniform at the same time because those were kind of side by side there. I would have liked to sequel that. Okay, I'm not crazy. That was gonna be funny. Sorry, Chris. I was joking. I didn't.
You almost
I didn't
had my
actually get
heart
it.
falling for a second.
That's funny. No, looks like the last news on it was that it was just getting a sequel way back in. Shoot, that was September of last year that they announced a sequel, and crickets since then. I think we had like an event that happened with Dress Up Darling here recently, and I think people were expecting that might have a date to it, but apparently nothing came of that. So big shock there. So my predictions. Hold on a second. Let me do at least some research before I say anything, because I like to at least have something to back myself up. I don't like to just throw out a date.
Are you saying that you're a leaker, Andrew?
No.
It's been leaked to Andrew, and Andrew is going to let everybody know.
Hold on, let me get into
the date.
I gotta get into the dark web. Let me log into the dark web, and I'll get my information that I need. So nothing really else right now is scheduled for Cloverworks. Are you serious? We just have Bocchi the Rock. No, that's the movie. Never mind. I was like, what the heck? So yeah, I guess their big thing right now is working collab for the Spy Family movie, and they're doing the Bunny Girl Senpai stuff, or I Dream of series. Season 2, I think, is going to be is that dated for spring yet? I think fall. So that's gonna be right around the corner. So I guess it could technically be they're open for winter.
Winter sounds right. I still think it should
they would have
be.
been announced already. If it's a winter, for something like Dress Up Darling, I think they're going to announce it 2 seasons early. This is supposed to be a 2024 date for Black Butler Shin series. So they already have something set for 2024. I think winter's too soon. I can see spring. I can see spring. I think it'll be a spring show. Spring 2024 or summer 2024. Those two. One of those two is my guess. I'd probably lean more towards spring because it's been so long ago. But I don't know where the manga's at right now, if it has enough space in there. I think what people were saying at the time is that they had plenty to get another season in. See, I'll go spring. I can go with spring. I think it'd be a solid spring show.
I don't know. I would lean towards winter. Winter seems like the best season for him, because that would be they would be competing with a lot of other shows.
Back off of Spy Family. They're going to jump right into that next show.
I don't see why not.
Well,
I mean,
they're co-oping Spy Family, so they're probably going to do episode swaps again with them.
More than likely, they would be fighting. That's when most of the shows are pretty hot. Winter seems to be kind of for lack of a better explanation. Okay, right now we're in a dead season. Fall is going to be ramping up.
Right now is a dead season?
Yes.
Jujutsu Kaisen, Bleach.
No, I mean as far as how many shows are out. Everybody is ramped up in the middle of the winter and spring
winter and
seasons.
spring were like a random occasion because we jumped up to 66 shows in winter and then still had 50
and that is unusual.
shows.
I'm not arguing that that's not unusual.
Yeah,
but
normally we have like 40 shows in winter and spring.
Exactly, and then the summer and fall. Fall is the ramp up season, and spring is technically the ramp down season, and then winter is always the highest one. It's always been like that. It's just that it's been lower numbers. I'm not arguing about whether or not. Yeah, it's always been like that.
Yeah, I don't.
But anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
I would think that winter seems to be the season that makes the most sense to me.
There you go. Dress Up Darling, winter. Chris called it. If it's not winter, then it's his fault. Just ignore that I made a prediction. Welcome back, Otaku Trucker. I'm glad to see that you've become a non-normie
winter
again.
2024 too. I'm agreeing with him.
Yeah, but they said that like 2 months ago. You probably read that 2
I
months
wasn't
ago.
thinking about it.
You read Otaku Trucker's post. That's obviously you didn't even know the show was coming.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear nothing from you. TCB says, "Excuse my ignorance." No, skipping to Sabanasu. I'm joking. Excuse my ignorance for asking, but have you or Chris ever guest appeared on another anime podcast in the past? I think just a podcast, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think I did one for. Did we do Anime Arcade at some point?
Yes, you did an Anime
Or
Arcade.
we brought them on here?
No, I did do an Anime Arcade with them too.
I don't remember which way. It's been a while.
We went. We did Anime Arcade.
There you go. Anime Arcade and a podcast. I don't remember what else.
I think you did one other one.
I want to say I did too. I did a bunch back in the day, and then life was happening, and it was very difficult to choose when we record and having a decent freedom to not having interruptions. So it's kind of went to the wayside, but it is what it is. And then I plan on getting back into the interviews, and guest appearances and stuff, but
other podcasts don't
it's
like
difficult.
us. It's just how it is.
No, I mean, we still have a podcast. On a regular basis, he puts the olive branch out there and says, "Hey, if you guys ever want to come over," and I'm always like, "Yeah, I'll let you guys know when." So it's all on me. It's nothing. AA podcast is always open door. They've been really cool about that. I'm just a bad person for never going, "Look, hey, let's do it." So that's just me completely. But no, I've even had times where I get emails and stuff for different groups, and they want to do interviews and stuff like that. And it's like,
they want to interview us?
Here's the
what
sad.
The heck?
No, it's the other way around.
This is news to me.
It's typically somebody's agent wants us to interview a random sports player that is so anime fan like you are. This person, like, he loves Naruto. He wants to be on your podcast because he's a super otaku. He loves Naruto. Did I tell you that? But no, it's like sad reality. People don't care about interviews. And that's a sucky thing. It's like, you would think that people would love it. The Peter at JList, I thought that was a fun interview, but it's like, nobody cared. I mean, maybe it'll probably do better now with, the influx on the YouTube channel and stuff like that, but it's probably our least viewed and least listened to. And I've heard that across the board. I've listened to several other people, and they mention that. Interviews, just, people don't care. I mean, I guess there's probably some interviews based on like a hot topic item or somebody that's just huge at the time. Interviews are nice because they're kind of cross-pollinizing. If that person has some sort of fandom, it draws them to you, and your fandom draws to them. That's the benefit. This is completely a side tangent to other podcasts because that's, again, cross-pollinizing. That's what that's about. Collaborating with other creators is to have fun discussions, get new ideas and new perspectives on your podcast and their podcast. But interviews in general, just nobody cares, and that's the sad thing about it. I would love to do a bunch of interviews, but it's just like there's not enough. It's sad to have that mindset, but yeah, you do want some sort of benefit coming to your podcast or your YouTube channel to put that much effort, because it's a lot of effort to put in together a interview, record it. Everybody, oh my gosh, it took forever. It took forever to get in sync with Peter. Damn it, Peter. And I still have not gotten my book. Just to let everybody know on the podcast, I've still not gotten my book. He finally messaged me back and he said, it wasn't December that I got back to you. I'm like, yeah, but you're still not sending me the book. I said, I'm waiting until December. If December comes around and you still not send that book, I'm totally rag on you.
He told me to message him about the thing that I had talked to him about, and I did message him. I said, hey, this has not happened, and I still have not. He still has not added me to his friend list.
Oh,
so the only one who can actually.
He didn't get added. No, here. Let me read. I'm gonna publicly shame Peter from JList right now. So we had the podcast. When was this? Holy crap! Let's see. That was September of 2022. We are now officially going on a year since that recording. So we had that interview a year ago, and on that interview, for people that missed it, I joked about. So when are you going to send me a copy of the Art of Kotaku, which is like this compilation book set that I seen on his website at the time that I was like, oh my gosh, drool. Because Kotaku's, I think, my second favorite artist of all time under Ranger Murata. But anyways, I joked about it on the podcast. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll send you one. Just go ahead and send me an email or a message on Discord and remind me." So I did that. And so cutting forward, I put where was that? I messaged a couple times like, "Hey man, you know, is it being sent? I mean, I want to make sure it didn't get lost in the mail or something like that." And then I messaged him this year, we're around May, saying, "I'm gonna laugh if you get back to me on December." And he says, "Haha, it's July now, but right now everybody's at San Diego Comic-Con, so we can't do it right now. Were you gonna do a review of it?" And I said, "Oh my prediction failed." And then it went crickets again. I'm like, it's literally gonna be December. It's so funny. Like I said, I joked because I think it's, yeah, he does all the social media stuff. He tweeted about the art of Kotaku, and I replied on that post on X saying, "Lol, when are you gonna send me my copy," or something like that. I was being jokey, but so one of our community members, Peter, just chimes up and says, "Am I gonna have to send it to you?" And I said, "No, I'm talking about, that's the wrong Peter." And I said, "No, it's just a meme at this point. I think it's gonna be one of those things like 5 years from now. It's just gonna be a joke that Peter never sent me that book." It's funny stuff though.
Yeah, I still have a pending request for Peter in Japan. So
it took forever for me to get him printed on there. I mean, it took forever for me to actually get him on there in general, just for the interview. Dude's busy. He's obviously very busy.
We're poking in fun.
It's all in fun.
If he actually listens to us, it'll be amusing.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I get my friend request.
we joke right now just to get some sort of response from him. It's just for Senpai to notice us. But yeah, I guess we'll do one more. Sabanasu says, "Did either of you finish Uncle from Another World?" I finally did last week. I didn't see a series review on any episode impressions video in the last episode or for the last episode. So I was starting to think that maybe you got busy and never finished it. I guess there isn't enough manga yet for a season 2, but maybe it'll happen someday. I know that we made passing comments on it, but I don't think we did a review because we got sick of the delays. Like at some point, I think it was in fall, we literally just did a review because we're like, 2 more episodes, reviewing it. We're tired of this show. It's seemed like 2 massive delays. But yes, we watched it, obviously. I'm assuming you watched the ending.
Yeah, loved it.
It was great. That's one of those just fantastic isekai comedies. The characters are fantastic. The elf is best girl. Super gorgeous. Comedy was just hilarious all the way through. Love the references around Sega and my gosh, all that kind of stuff was hilarious. I think there was a couple points towards the later part where it started ramping up into some like serious thing, like at the hot spring and stuff like that, where it was a little bit losing me. But overall, the comedy was on point the whole time. And yeah, the ending having pretty much like a bunch of shots from like later parts in the manga was like an absolute tease because they didn't announce another season. They were like, "Hey, the story continues. Here's all these great shots of, oh yeah, by the way, they played ping pong together and her robe's falling off." It's like, don't tease me for something you're not getting. But yeah, I doubt we're gonna get a season 2 anytime soon. That's another one of those ones that if I had time, I'd totally jump in the manga. It was really good though. I loved it. I don't know. I don't know what I scored it. That's a good question. Because it was production hell for sure. But I don't want to blame the show for that. That's just planners and production that sucks, not the studio. Though there was a lot of controversy around the studio at the time, so who knows what was actually causing it. I don't know. It's probably up there as like maybe an 8. I'd probably say an 8. I really loved it. Every
really
episode I laughed out loud at it.
I don't really do numbers, so.
Oh, Fuddy Daddy over here. I don't do numbers.
I loved it. I loved it.
I'm just going to say I love it. And that way you never know how it compares to anything else.
I love this show.
By the way, Saba Boy gave us a goodbye on the Discord, said that he's going on a missionary kind of thing for the next 2 years and that he's going to be a normie for a while. So best wishes to Saba if he actually listened to this before he goes on his adventure. Or if he's going to continue listening to us during that time, I don't know. So
he's abandoning us?
He's just leaving. He just said he's leaving the community. I don't know if he's going to listen to us still or anything. But best wishes to him. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's it. I think we got good time. I think we got some good questions in there. Let me mark them before I forget again. But hope you guys enjoyed this Otaku Spirit podcast episode. It was a lot of fun. Me and Chris yelling at each other about fraud. Hopefully we get plenty of fun comments out of this whole situation. I know that AI just sparks so much fun, interesting discussion. But again, we're at talkspirit.com. That's where you can go for all of our links. We have our links to our Discord, Twitter/x.com, ways to support us through Patreon, tips, links, super thanks, all that kind of stuff. I did have a shout out for a recent. I haven't done this in a while. We got another recent patron, Joshua Davis. Became an amazing Patreon supporter. I think he was doing it mainly for the Mushoku Tensei Mondays, but still, it supports everything. But yes, always support is on there. We greatly appreciate every single person that supports the channel and what we do here. I mean, so much to me. One of these days, Chris will be able to get Chris to quit his job. We'll build a studio and everything. But small beginnings, Chris, right? One step at a time, small beginnings. One day we will establish that. What did Petro call it? Otaku Spirit Studios.
I won't deny that, but I still have to take care of the puppies a little bit.
Damn.
I just won't be as pushed to spend my entire day there.
We will build Otaku Spirit Studios that will have a place to keep dogs in the back.
Okay.
Soundproofed and everything, because that's a lot of barking.
That's a lot of barking.
So that's a lot of barking. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Thanks to the questions from Talking Trucker, TCB, Sabanasu, Death, Metalhead, Petro. All of you guys are amazing. And y'all take care.
Os.